Welcome to Real Talk, Reginald D. I'm your host, Reginald D. On today's episode, I have Nicole Gregory. Nicole is an actress, speaker, and media personality. Nicole also had a leading role in Sean Redden's movie, The Decision. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Hello. Thank you for having me. This
Thank
is
you so
great.
much. Thank you so much for taking time
For
out of your
sure.
busy schedule to hang out with me for a minute.
For sure. For sure. For sure.
So, so Nicole, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up and what was your childhood like?
So I am a brown skinned girl from the south side of Chicago. I grew up there with my grandmother and my dad who raised me. Migrated from Chicago to Indianapolis, where I built my very successful nursing and technology career. And then migrated from Indianapolis to Atlanta about 4 years ago, where I still maintain that IT and nursing career and just kind of added the acting, modeling, and speaking when I got here. Wasn't expecting that, but so grateful to God that's the assignment that He gave me. So yeah, I've been doing that ever since I got here. So here I am, little brown girl from the south side of Chicago.
I know, right? God always puts us in the place we want us to be.
Yeah.
So, Nicole, you've overcome so much from, like I read, being homeless, domestic violence, and, basically emotional trauma. Can you take us back to that season in your life and what was that like?
The season of my life where I was homeless was after I had gotten divorced. And I just was really, I had lost my father. I had lost both my parents within a year of each other, like about a year or two before that. And I just was really lost. My dad and I, we were very, very close. And so losing him, I just didn't know who I was. It took a little while for me to figure out who Nicole really was. And so I just was working, but was just making a very impulsive decision. And I don't think I was bringing my best self to the situations. And so it led to homelessness because when you're married, you mesh everything together. And so it just left me a little bit financially struggling. And my youngest daughter and I, we were sleeping for a couple of days. We slept at the top of a apartment complex in Indianapolis. And the security guard was always so sweet, and he would let me in, so I could have a safe place to sleep and went to work every day. I had my clothes in my trunk, my toiletries in my trunk. And that's how I kind of lived for not a long time, but enough time to realize that I'm spiraling out of control. So that season of my life was very difficult. That's when I really developed my relationship with prayer, is because I didn't know anybody in Indianapolis to the point where I could trust someone with that type of information. And so I had to trust God. And yeah, it was hard. It was hard to talk about it. A lot of my close family members didn't know about it because I was embarrassed. I'm usually very structured, very orientated. And so it was very difficult for me.
Yeah, I bet it was, especially having a young daughter too. You're trying to take care of it through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what happened? What moment or an encounter or breakthrough when you realized that you were not just surviving, but started rising through all of the stuff you've been through?
Um, I think I started realizing that I was a little bit different when things didn't stop me the way it stopped other people. Like, even in the midst of being homeless, I still was working full time. I still was revered at my position. And I think I became emotionally mature. I started learning how to deal with my emotions. So that kind of let me know that, okay, maybe God's got me here because I need to be able to be relatable. I need to be able to be where someone is to help them through that moment in their life. And I was always told that I was a little bit different, that, God had something special. I had been told by pastors and, prophets, but I just really was uncomfortable with what that responsibility came with. And I think that homelessness was a part of the running that I was doing. So the minute I realized that I was okay, it's okay to be different, it's okay to be chosen for something specific, I started to get a little bit more comfortable and things started really shifting because I started trusting more. But I don't think that would have ever happened had I not hit that type of rock bottom.
Yeah, it takes a situation sometimes, that wakes people up. Some people wake up a little earlier than some. I have been in a situation where I had to hit rock bottom for me to realize what I really supposed to be doing and what God has for my life and stop all this foolishness.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like, okay, I know who I am. I know I'm not this. I don't know exactly who I am, but I know I'm not this. So that's when I started, okay, I need to be doing something different. And this is not going to work.
That was so powerful what you just said. I know I'm not this. Even though
Hmm.
you don't have it all figured out, if people can just realize that I know I'm not this. this is
Right.
this
I
is
don't
not me.
know. Yeah, I don't know what I am. I don't know where I'm going, but I know it's not here.
Right, right. So, you know, and I think one of the biggest things, and one thing I do admire about you is that even though you've been through mental and emotional abuse and things like that, a lot of people can't shake that. They carry that and they can't get ahead in life because they're still traumatized by whatever the situation may be. And God bless them because I know it's
Yeah.
tough sometimes, but I really
Yeah.
applaud you for that. I know it takes a lot of courage too to rise above all stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's just be honest. It takes a support system too. I think where a lot of people make the mistake is that they feel like because it happened to them that you can't be supported. It's okay to get the support you need so that you're healthy and whole and you're not triggered every time something similar or sound like or relatable. You don't have to be triggered by it. So yeah, what you see now is just the result of a good support system, great therapy sessions. Like, I didn't do this on my own, so I can't take credit for something that a community helped me get through.
Absolutely. Yeah, it
Mhm.
takes multiple people, like I say, a group of people from all walks of life that can help you when you're going through things. Because, like I say, doing it doing it alone sometimes, man, it's tough.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah, and you
really.
don't have to. That's just pride. When you're doing that because of pride. Once you set that pride aside and you realize that you're not the only one that's going through that, you'll be surprised what type of support and help and growth that you can get out of that.
Yes. So, Nicole, what would you say to a woman listening who is hiding her pain behind a smile or feeling like she is not worth anything and her worth is gone?
Pray, you know, because it's only in the isolation and the silence that you can hear. So many times as women, we feel like we're responsible for everyone and everything. And give yourself some grace to grieve someone you didn't grieve or to feel the loss of something or someone. Be okay with what that feels like. Sit in that. Don't sit in that too long, though, because then you'll end up staying there. But prayer, definitely. I'm going to always encourage counseling because that's someone that doesn't have advice to give, but they're able to give you the tools you need to make it through that season. Because the thing is, you feel like in those moments that it's going to be like that forever. And so you need the tools so that if it ever comes up again or while you're there, you know how to digest what's going on and move forward. Doesn't mean you forget it. You just move forward. Like forgetting is not, acting like it never happened. Forgetting is forgetting the trauma that you're triggered by to cause the same reaction that you would give in those moments. So, counseling for sure. Get yourself a great group of girlfriends that you can be authentic with, that you can have those tough conversations with, and that are going to hold you accountable and be supportive when you're going through that. Don't do it alone.
That's good. That's very good advice.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the actress, Nicole. How do you bring real life emotion into your roles without losing your emotional balance?
Well, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. In every character you see I play, there's a little bit of me in there. So the only way I can bring the best out of a character is if I put a little bit of me in there. Being a Gemini, that helped because there's 17 of us anyway. You know what I mean? Whoever I need to pull in for that character, I pull her in. I can never lose myself in a character because that is a separate entity of me. That's a separate layer of me. But I do put pieces of my own personality in her so that you can feel her being authentic as possible. So that you walk away with me on your mind about, wow, Brooke really did this or such and such really did that. And you forget my name is Nicole altogether.
Right. Right. You always gonna put a little piece of you in it though, right?
I do. I do because I mean, I want my audience to feel like they're talking to me still. Because that's what's going to make it feel memorable to you is that you had a moment with me on camera. So, yes, I do put a little bit of me in each character that I play.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, Nicole, you become a voice for women and girls who feel unseen or silenced. What do you believe are the biggest lies women need to unlearn to walk in confidence?
Mm, that I have to do it all by myself. That if you're a mother, that you have to mother a certain way or you're not a successful mother. That you have to look a certain way to be seen. That you have to follow a trend to be heard. Those are the myths that across generations we need to throw in the garbage for sure. Women are strong. We are strong, but we're human. And we need to, be okay with taking care of the human side of us so that we can, pour into others. Oftentimes, women are pouring from an empty cup. And you need to know when it's time to step back and regroup and recenter. I do it every year. There's a certain time of the year where I don't do any interviews. I don't do any filming because I'm still a person. I'm still a mother. I'm still, a human being and I have emotions and things hurt my feelings. So I have to give myself some time to recenter and rebalance myself. Stop being afraid of what you know is true about you and stop melting into the background because you're afraid. I had a bad habit of that. Having friends in this industry that are so seen, I would oftentimes melt into the background because I believe every moment is not for me, you know. But they started telling me, stop doing that. Like you're talented, you're gifted, you have this. You need to step out. Stop being afraid. This is your gift. This is your calling. This may be your assignment. So having that community, building a sense of community where I'm accountable, but I'm also pushed to my excellence. I think that's important. That biggest takeaway, you do not have to do this alone. Whatever it is, it's okay to ask for help.
Yes. And you said one thing earlier that women are so strong, and they are. And the part about you saying, take time for yourself, take care of yourself. That's very critical because I've actually watched my mother. She was a single parent. I watched her work 3 jobs, played for 7 choirs in the church, and went to college and was raising me and my sister as a
Mhm.
single parent. And I remember one time I heard this moaning in her bedroom and just crying and screaming like thinking she had a breakdown. And she hadn't really recovered from it since. She still, had anxiety now and all that kind of stuff, but she just
Mhm.
now. And I was like, if I had one thing to say to her back then, it would have been, hey, take time for yourself. If she'd have learned,
Mhm.
I think it should have been a lot better off, But
Yeah, yeah.
but she was that woman, that strong woman, man. They gonna they gonna go at it. They
They
put it all
do.
in it.
They do. And I'm quick to tell my children or my friends, I can't do that. I don't have the bandwidth to do that, or I can't do that right now. Or, I even tell my daughters, you're a woman first. You belong to God. You're a woman first. And it is okay to tend to your womanhood and do what makes you feel good so that when your time has come and you're called upon, you're able to go because you're not depleted, you know? That's okay. And there are gonna be some moments I just can't because I just can't. Because I'm just not in a mental space to be able to. So being able to be at this age and admit that, you know what, I need help doing this, or I can't do this. I know I want to do that. I can't do that right now. It's okay. It's okay to take care of you in your most broken moments so that when you heal, you're whole.
Exactly. Exactly. So, Nicole, what does empowerment look like to you in real everyday life?
Mm. Everyday life. I think from moment to moment and enjoying the moment, celebrating myself through small accomplishments, celebrating other people that I care and love and their accomplishments. I don't have a superhero syndrome, so I don't need to feel like I'm always the savior. I love to see other people win. So that empowerment is layered for me. Getting through the day with a teenager is a accomplishment. So if I can make it through the day with her, she's such a great kid. But she being a teenage girl is a tough time. So I have a lot that I have to give out, to develop her like she needs to. So celebrating the moments and just realizing that, man, I was living in my car and now I'm able to pull up into a home and, I'm just keep staying so humble, staying so grateful for the opportunities. That's what empowerment looks like to me. It has nothing to do with how strong I am. It's to me, it's everything to do with how humble I remain.
Yes, and like you said, dealing, the moments. I always tell people, man, your moments are so critical, and how you
Hmm.
handle your moments is like life changing, man.
Yes,
It's gonna take you to
yes,
where you need to go or where you don't need to
yes,
go. It depends on how you handle it. And like you
absolutely.
said, and for us, empowerment. I agree with you on one thing too is lifting up other people.
Hmm.
Stepping in when you can and helping when you can, and encourage people to be the best they are. You know,
Yeah,
that's
and watching them win, like I get a kick out of that when I see my friends traveling and getting awards and hosting and Just it just lets me know that, wow, I'm a part of a great group of people that care, and they're just good women, you know what I mean? They're just good people, and so when you see good people winning, I love it. It doesn't always have to be me. I love it for them. I love it for them.
yes, I'm the same way. I have people on my team, and I will push them, and they're like,
Mhm.
"You're crazy," or "You don't care." And then when they finally accomplish something, or what I know they could, I
Yeah.
look up to them. I said, "That's the reason I ain't say that. I know you can do it." You know,
Yep.
then I walk away. So
Yep.
it's like, I'm not gonna rah rah you. You don't need it.
Exactly.
Somebody else need that, so
Exactly.
I got to do it on
Ex
the other side.
exactly. It's an amazing feeling.
Yes, it is. It is.
Mhm.
So, Nicole, you create custom wigs for cancer patients. What inspires you to turn your compassion into this beautiful form of creativity that you have?
Well, I've been in the healthcare field going on 30 years now. I started when I was in my 20s. And so now I'm on the technology side of healthcare. But I've always loved having patient interaction. And the one thing I know about women is that, we always want to look pretty. We always want to look our best. And when you're suffering from a disease like cancer, it takes away some of the womanhood in your hair for men too, not just women, but it can hurt your self-esteem when you don't feel like you look your best. And so it was my way to give back to a career that has given me so much. And it makes it even more personal. I came off of the floor as a healthcare worker years ago, almost 8 years ago. And so the technology side of things hasn't allowed me to delve back into patient care directly. So this was the way that I was able to give back, and the smiles that I see on my clients, it just makes it all the while. Like then they get a little piece of themselves back. And so it makes me feel really, really good that I can give them a piece of themselves back to reverence in such a difficult diagnosis to try to, journey through.
That is so great. That's touching too, because people don't look at that side of it. You see people with cancer, and a lot of people are just like afraid they're gonna die, and then they successfully get treated, but then all of the other stuff, self esteem, because the hair fell out or they lost the hair.
Right.
Well, that part is devastating too.
It
Got to
is.
get up and look in the mirror at that every day.
Mhm, mhm. So it's very small, but I consider it very small because they're dealing with so many other emotions. So if I can help them take that piece out of it, then they can pour that energy into other things that may require their attention a little bit more.
Absolutely. So as I'm talking to you, one word comes to my mind.
Okay.
The word faith.
Absolutely.
How has your faith helped you not only survive, but find meaning in your past struggles?
If I'm being honest, my slogan has been all faith, no fear for 15 years. Like, because there's no way that, like, as you do that walk back in your life, that my grandmother was either praying for me or God was like, okay, I'm going to let you do this because this is what you need to learn to live. But I don't know how it would survive without the trust because faith means trust.
Mhm.
So I have had to learn to trust not only myself, but I had to trust God too, because trusting God is trusting yourself, trusting that what you hear in the back of your mind, you think is you going crazy. No, that's the voice of reason telling you this is what I want you to do. And it sounds, you would think it sounds like some deep voice, God got this deep, vague baritone voice, my child do this. And it doesn't. It comes across as like, you should have been doing that, right? Like that that's supposed to be you, right? Or that you could be doing this. And it's just trusting. It's like, okay, I cannot be fearful because being fearful means I prayed all these years for nothing. So I have to be able to trust. So faith is, to me, it's just another equal sign to trusting you and trusting that what the path that God's got you on is strictly for you. You don't have to look like nobody else's. It don't have to sound like nobody else's. It's for you. And it's a reason for that. So you have to trust that and have faith that, okay, I know I want to do this, but maybe I got to go down this road to get down that street. That's trusting. So that's how I do it.
Yes, and I'm glad you said one thing that people think God comes in this deep voice and rattles the whole room when he talks to you. And I used to hear my grandfather, he was a pastor, and it's like when he does stuff, man, it just works. He step out on faith. He stopped pastoring at 73 years old, and
Hmm.
he was just gonna go and just enjoy some of the churches that he built. And then
Hmm.
it's time he sat down, he said, I gotta build another church. Everybody like, man, how you gonna build a church? You 70 something years old. Faith, man. We did it, boom, did it. My cousin's the pastor of it now. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things. But I used to say, Papa, how do you know to do this? I heard God told me to. I'm growing up like I need to hear this voice. I mean, what is this? I always thought like this, but as I got older, I learned, I'm like, it's just that thing that's inside of you that's telling you,
It sounds like you.
right,
It
right,
sounds like you.
right,
It sounds like you talking to you.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, this is what I want you to do. And so my prayer is not to have more trust, it's to have more discernment. Because in that road of learning to trust, you got to be able to know when to move and when to stay. You got to listen. And so trusting and having faith means listening. And in order to listen, you have to pray. So it's, to me, it's like it's a domino of things in those messages because sometimes the test, it's like, okay, I'm going to see if you trust me like you say you do, because it's not going to be easy. Just because I've got your back does not mean I'm going to just let it go. It's not going to be easy because you have to be tested so I can know that you're listening to me. So that's why it's important that you trust yourself. Because when you're doubting, that's not God. If you got to doubt it, if you got to second guess it, that is not faith. That's something else talking to you. That's not Him. Because when it's Him, it's going to feel different. You're going to move different. The people that are around you in that situation, they're going to sound different. They're going to be different and it's going to be smooth. It may not be perfect, but it will be smooth. You won't have to worry about what's on the other end because you've already, let's be clear, in having that faith, you've already seen the vision. You've seen it. So now He gave it to you, but He didn't tell you how you was going to get there. He didn't say, I'm going to bring this person or this person or this person. He just gave you the vision. Now But when the vision is coming to pass, that peace as you go down that journey lets you know that what you thought you heard was true.
Yes. Yes. I like that. I like that. Man, because it's just one of those things where you know.
You know, you know,
Oh, you
you
know.
know, you know, you know. That's why I teach my daughters, trust your instinct because we're not born protectors. So God had to give us a intuition to know when something doesn't feel right because that's his way of protecting us. So when you don't listen to that, that's when you mess up. But when you listen to that, that is your voice of reason. That's your get out of there. That ain't for you. That you shouldn't be over there. That's what that means.
Absolutely. So what does it mean for you to live as a woman of purpose in the entertainment industry and beyond?
Oh, it means that I don't have to be everywhere with everybody all the time. You know what I mean? I believe in doing things in order, praying about things before I sign up for them, stepping back when I need to, being where it's befitting for me to be because I want to maintain my character. I have more than just the public looking at me. I've got a son, I've got two daughters looking at my behavior while I tread this entertainment world. So I stay connected and into what keeps me grounded and my faith and my family keeps me grounded. My children don't see Nicole Gregory. They only see me as mom, you know. So the expectations of that role is big to me. It means something to me. So how I present myself into the world reflects on my character and my children too. So I'm very mindful of that. But when I go to Indianapolis, my church family is there. I definitely have that time with my pastor to make sure that I'm constantly covered. I do ask him to pray over me so that it keeps away anything that is not for me. So that's how I'm able to tread with such confidence is that I got God as my backup. And now my dad is up there. So I got two daddies up there was my backup, you know. So that's how I do it.
And one thing you said is that you think about things when it comes your way instead of just jumping on 'em, like
Hmm.
opportunities and, and things like that. Because I always tell people every opportunity is not for you you know, to jump
Hmm.
on. Such.
Hmm.
I mean, you'll see it. People gonna reach out to you, say, "I want you to do this. I want you to do this." But you get out there and you start getting in all this stuff, you'll be so ineffective,
Yeah.
and burn out. You know.
And burn out. Yeah, because I mean, I live in Atlanta, so I could be everywhere all the time if that's what I wanted to do, but it's just not necessary. What I'm trying to accomplish doesn't require my face to be everywhere, but it does require my face to be in the right places. So I ask God, bring me my people, bring me, you know, the people that are going to put me in the right spaces so I can make a difference in the right places with people.
Yeah, because my cousin did a trip. He's my pastor. My grandfather left him the church, but I went to his church because I'm originally from Greenville, South Carolina. That's like between Charlotte and Atlanta on 85. So it's a city right there. And I went home. He invited me to come speak at the church. So I came down there and it's after he had a heart attack, right?
Mm,
And we was talking. He's probably 56, 57, something like that. But we was talking and he was like, man, he said, I got to chill out. I got to step down, man. I had a heart attack. And
mhm,
he was talking, talking about life. And he said, man, I had like 9 jobs. I said, what? She's like,
mhm,
he said, man, I've been a pastor. He said, he got his own insurance company. And he said, I'm on this board. I'm on the director of this. I'm the director on this board in this organization. I'm over this. And I'm like, dude, I said, man, you got to pick and choose this thing, man. You can't just everybody grabbing at you. You trying to run something. That's crazy to me.
mhm. Yeah, I
So
especially in the entertainment because it's entertainment is so broad. There are so many clicks within it, and whatever I want, whatever I take, I want it to have purpose. I want it to leave people with something. So every project may not be the right project, but the projects that I do take, if I can leave a stamp and plant a seed, those are the ones that I want.
yes, impact,
Mhm. Impact.
impact. That's
I would rather have influence than money any day.
yes, exactly. So Nicole, what's next for Nicole Gregory? Any upcoming projects or missions we should be watching for?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, of course, the decision is right now on streaming on YouTube. Excited about that. Hopefully, that will be on TV soon. And then I have a play that I am so happy to be a part of called Mama B's Press and Curl. That will be June 29th. Locations will be on my pages soon. And then I have three films coming up. One is actually next week. I'm filming a film called Unspoken. Then I have Assassin's Redemption, and then another film where I'll be playing a federal agent, and we'll do that for the latter half of the summer. So I've got a couple of things, brewing, going on.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about the play because it'll be my first time on stage because I usually do film. So this is my first musical play, theater production that I'm a part of. So I'm excited about stretching myself to do some theater. So yeah, guys, look on my page for that so you can come and support. And the other cast is so amazing. And the lesson in it is definitely a great message.
Wow. You really got some you got some things going on.
I do,
That's
because
why
it's
you
like
got the balance, man. You got the balance.
it, I do because theater is different. You have to practice that. So it's like putting in that time, rehearsals, and the character, the wardrobe. Like it's a production. It's a true production. And so to be thought of and asked to join that cast it was just amazing. And the cast is so amazing. So I'm so excited about that because that's the first thing coming up. Films take a while because you got to edit and then, it takes a while, but theater is live, it's right there. So I'm hopeful that people will come out and support this amazing production in June. So
Okay. I'm excited for you.
thank you.
You have
Thank you.
really
Thank
been
you.
you've been set apart by God. I can tell that. I
I
can
hope
really tell
so.
that. You have
I
been.
pray. I
Yeah.
pray that people see less of me and more of him and just the possibilities. Like when I was in Indianapolis speaking to others about the possibilities, I really want people to look at not my age, like, oh, wow, she looks really good to be almost 50 and all this. But the age of it doesn't matter because sometimes it takes a long time to brew the right chemistry, to brew the right message. So I really want people to look at me and say, "Man, I could do this. Like I could get through this moment. If I want to act, I can manifest that." You know what I mean? And see, like I told people there, I want you to look at me and see what you can do versus what you're doing. Mhm.
Absolutely. So lastly, Nicole,
Yeah.
if you could leave one unshakable truth with our audience today, if they're going through things and don't know how to get out of it and don't know their purpose, trying to find that part about life, what would you say to them?
Say don't stop until you find it. You'll know when you find it. Part of finding it is not giving up on the journey to finding what it is. Be yourself in whatever it is you're trying to do. Don't get comfortable with mediocrity when you know you were born for more. People will come and go in your life, but God is the one thing that will always be there. So when you feel like no one understands you, talk to him, write to him. You can write it down, if you don't know what to say, write it down. But the biggest takeaway is trusting. You have to trust yourself. Part of the reason why people feel like they're not successful is because they're trying to copy and paste someone else's success into their life. And so it leaves you feeling defeated when it doesn't look like that or doesn't feel like that. But the end result, you got to ask the pathway of how a person got there. You'd be surprised about what you hear. When I take those pictures and people see me on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, those pictures, there is a whole production that goes behind that. There's a camera, there's lights, there's makeup, there's hair, there's wardrobe. You don't see that process. All you get is the finished product. So be mindful that even the most glamorous finished product has to go through a process. So stay strong in your process. And trust me, the finished product will be exactly what it's supposed to be.
I love it. I love it. So, Nicole, how can my listeners follow you on social media and follow your career?
Well, You can follow me at I am dot Nicole Gregory on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. There, I list all of our upcoming projects. I give positive affirmation reels and posts and stories. I go live sometimes and we just have conversations. And you can definitely see the links for the movie that I'm in called The Decision, and you can just sort of follow my journey. And sometimes I don't call them fans. I take my family with me on different sets to give them a backstage of, what I have to go through to get to those, on set, to get from there to there, to get from comfort to camera. So I just want people to really take away that I'm not perfect. I'm me. So when you see me, this is me. I'm not being anything else but myself. And so I love taking people on that authentic journey. So you can reach me at I am dot Nicole Gregory on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
There you have it, Nicole Gregory. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, Nicole. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Oh, this was great. We'll have to do this again.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be following you. So see
Thank
what
you
you're up
so
to.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
quite welcome. Quite welcome. Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk with Reggie D. If you enjoy listening to Real Talk with Reggie D, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. See you next time.